Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is episode 11 of season 2 of the Daily Intermission podcast. I am joined, as always, by Nathan Brown. Nate, how we doing, bud?
Pretty good, man. Rocking the new merch. It's fitting nice. Don't know if I'm doing a good job showing that to the camera or not, but this stuff is just feeling terrific.
It does feel good. It feels good to rep your own brand. You know, we've worked hard with the design team, and so that launch is going to be on Tuesday. That link will be posted all across our socials. So we're really looking forward to it. And yeah, like you said, Nate, it fits great. Some great brands that are repping the Daily Intermission logo.
Yeah, very affordable too, folks. Like, we're not in the business of ripping you guys off. We're trying to give you guys good quality stuff, and just getting the brand out there. We're not trying to make $1 million off everybody.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. We got a great podcast ahead, Nate. We've got a lot of NHL chat, the MLB Hall of Fame action. The NFL weekend obviously was crazy. A lot of NBA chatter. Australian Open's on. But before we get into that, my man, have you been watching Ozark?
I have.
Okay.
I've not finished yet, but I've got 2 episodes left. After I'm finished, folks, just to let you know, it's gonna be spoiler city probably
for sure
on that one. As soon as I'm done, I think we're gonna go in depth on it, so that'll be by Sunday for sure.
Do we know when part 2 of season 4 is, Nate?
I thought I saw it comes out in April.
Okay,
but I wouldn't be completely surprised if they end up doing something along the lines of like pushing it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, tease it a little bit longer, push it on, because it's going to be the conclusion of a great series.
What a show.
It's been awesome.
It's sick.
It is, man. It really is. But hey, let's get right into it, man. Yeah. Our guy, friend of the show, Drake Batherson, gonna miss the foreseeable future. It sounds like 6 to 8 weeks with a high ankle sprain due to the clown show, the clown act, the Bush League play by goaltender Aaron Dell on the Buffalo Sabres.
Yeah, he ended up getting the 3-game suspension. We talked it over the other night, and we said, I don't know, 3 to 5.
Yeah.
Didn't think it would be much higher than that. I can't imagine he's a repeat offender. Goalies generally don't get suspended.
Yeah.
They also usually don't act like absolute barbarians and run around with like chickens with their heads cut off. But 3-game suspension. I don't know how. Like, do you feel that's fair? I mean, it's tough when a guy's missing 8 weeks and he gets 3 games. I mean. Yeah,
it's challenging. I mean, do you kind of line it up with when there's a suspendable play? They are out for the length of the player's injury. I mean,
you see a lot of people
that debate.
Yeah. But I mean, imagine like Kucherov getting injured. You know what I mean, on a play, and it's just like, well, this player is not going to be playing for the next 4 years.
Yeah, I know. For sure.
Just sit out. So.
Yeah, you can't do it that way, but it'd be interesting to see next time. I mean, that next game between Buffalo and Ottawa is going to be circled on people's calendars. It'll be interesting to see if they start Aaron Dell.
Oh, they probably won't.
I know.
He might not even be there anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? They might sell off again at the deadline and bring up even dustier goalies.
No, absolutely. It'd be interesting to see what happens, but obviously a terrible event in Ottawa, and we're thinking about Drake. He's going to miss his first All-Star game, like we mentioned. If you haven't seen our full breakdown and a little bit more emotion-filled, it is on YouTube, so go check out the YouTube page for that.
Yep.
Nate, some awesome news out of Vancouver. Jimmy Rutherford, who ended up leaving Pittsburgh last year, if the listeners do remember, and he is now the president of hockey operations in Vancouver.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, and he has hired the first female assistant general manager. Emily Castonguay was hired by the Vancouver Canucks. Such a gracious trailblazer for women in the management role in hockey, and it's awesome to see.
Yeah, former player agent, I do believe.
That's right.
She had a lot of French guys, Lafreniere.
Yep.
One of the Joseph brothers. I'm not sure if it's Pierre Oliver.
Yep.
A couple other guys. Got Antoine Roussel, a hell of a deal.
Okay.
Like 3 years, 18 million or something foolish.
Okay.
Or maybe I actually can't imagine it's that much, but still, I mean, that's a good pull for him.
Yeah, for sure.
So what happens when they become the assistant GMs? They're just done being agents, eh?
Oh, yeah.
It gets pushed off? Okay,
yeah,
okay. I thought so.
Yeah, and I think that, you think, because similarly to the Montreal Canadiens hiring, is it Ken Hughes? I do believe.
I believe so. Drake's old agent, right?
Yep. Yeah. So he's got Bergeron, Letang, and so obviously those individuals. So they would stay with that same agency, I would assume.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like a bidding war.
Yeah, I wonder what happens with the agents, like, because that's some solid cash.
Yeah,
you're entitled to on those contracts
for sure.
I mean, unless the GM pay was a little bit higher, it seems like I would almost rather take the agent route, especially if you have like Letang and Bergeron. It's like.
Yeah, it all depends on what you're looking for in your workday and what you want to take on, and yeah, no, for sure. But it's awesome for women in hockey. I mean, you know, I'm always a big believer in if regardless of gender, regardless of skin color, if you are the best fit for the job, the most qualified, you deserve the job. And I'm assuming that was the case with Emily Castonguay, and I mean, amazing for hockey, great moment. I mean, we're seeing it more and more. I mean, with referees in the American League, I mean, that's going to come to the National League.
Anthony Mantha's sister.
That's right.
AHL.
That's right.
Yeah, the NHL's made great strides recently too. I mean, you even have a lot of commentators now.
That's right.
The NHL on
Cheryl
TNT.
Pounder?
Cheryl Pounder's not calling games, is she?
No, well, she's an analyst.
She's an analyst.
Sorry,
TSN crushing it, man. They have so many female.
When Jamie McClellan was out with COVID, she did call one of the Senators' games.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Oh, nice, awesome.
Yeah.
Good for Cheryl. That's awesome. And they have. I'm mistaken on her name. I can't remember, but they've got one girl who does the NHL and TNT, I think, or ESPN.
Yeah.
One of the other ones. She does a lot of national games down in the States. So
so we see women, making their mark in the professional leagues, and it's great to see. I mean, we see coaching and refereeing, and I mean, like we said, prior. I mean, if they are qualified for the position and the best individual for the job, there's no reason why they shouldn't be involved in the game. Nate, our guy Keith Yandel, the Zonk King, now the longest active games played streak of all time.
Yeah, longest Ironman streak. Keith Yandel, man, what a guy. Man, he takes a lot of flat. What is he at? 967 games, something like that.
Yeah.
Since 2009, I believe.
2009.
Yeah, it's a hell of a run, dude. It's impressive as hell. He takes a lot of crap online.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of reading into it. I mean, I think he's a heck of a player. Great captain on the power play, or quarterback, I should say. And yeah, I mean, he's had, an awesome career. I mean, you think about these last 2 seasons and how incredible it is that he hasn't missed a game with COVID.
Oh, 100%, right?
Insane.
Yeah. Especially when Florida was just going to straight up scratch him.
Yeah.
What was it? The start of last season. It was like, well, man, you can't be doing that.
No, and the public uproar.
Yeah.
He survived the healthy scratch. But I think Phil Kessel, he's only 30 games behind him or something, 20 games. I mean, Phil the Thrill. Who knew the durability behind that guy?
It's honestly impressive, He gets, it's hilarious. I mean, Yandel loses the streak. Kessel's taking it.
Yeah.
Which is wild, but
anyway, I mean, who would have thought?
Not
on the the top of your list of people who you think are durable and available every night.
Who would be the first guy that comes to mind when you think of like durability in the NHL?
Patrice Bergeron, but he does get injured a lot. But he does play on the edge. I mean, a guy who plays a clean game. I mean, Barkov's another guy. He just seems so slick and like kind of. But he's blocked. I mean,
he misses a fair bit. Mark Stone's been out a ton this year as well.
I always kind of think of that Lady Bing-esque.
I know what you're saying. It's an impressive fate for Ovechkin. He's only missed, I believe, like 30 to 40 games in his entire career, and he plays like an absolute
baboon.
Yeah, legit. Like he runs around, man.
Flying around.
Tough on the body, but he has, and I think half of those are like suspensions.
Yeah, I know for sure.
Or All-Star game where he's not going suspensions.
No, absolutely. And it's an odd name of the streak, the Iron Man.
Yeah,
it's like almost like it'd be like you'd be giving out to like the most block shots at the end of the year.
Yeah, so like true. It's not even really like a real thing either. It's just like kind of a media, Iron Man streak.
Yeah, I think there's a tie between the Iron Man, like the length of that race, and how it's so long, and how how durable your body has to be during that. But Nate, the Canadian Olympic roster was announced.
Yep.
Some names that people will be familiar with. I mean, you've got Landon Ferraro, Ray Ferraro's son, Eric Stahl, obviously probably the highlighted. Mason McTavish, who was on the World Junior team. Owen Power is going to play.
Yep. Devin Levi, World Junior goalie from a few years ago.
So it's going to be exciting. Like I'm going to probably tune in if I can.
Yeah, for sure. I'm also pumped about Josh Hosang. Yep. He's an electric player, man. He's just like, I don't know what's going on with him. I know he had some like behavioral issues. Like,
did he ever go with the Leafs this year?
Well, he was there, but I don't believe he played a single game. So I'm not sure what the story is with him because he's super skilled. Like I remember in junior, like he was like
he's a top pick, isn't he?
Yeah, like I believe he went first round of the Islanders, if not second or something like that. Maybe he slipped a little more. I'm completely talking now, but I mean, he was like coming out of junior. He was like kind of. I remember at one point like kind of like pegged as like the next one.
Okay,
for a bit. Like he was just disgusting, and
sure.
It's just never really panned out for him. So that's David Desharnais there too.
Yeah, David Desharnais,
classique. Yeah,
smaller player. People will remember him on the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
So there's some familiar faces on that team. Is Claude Julien the head coach of that team?
I'm not sure.
Who is the head coach of that team?
I'm not sure. I can pull it up.
I want to say Claude Julien, but it's all good. Nate, I was watching the Capitals game the other night.
Yeah.
Just to move to another note outside of the Olympics, and it was I forget who Washington was playing, but the commentators, the play-by-play, they were talking, with the jersey retirement, Sergei Zubov's getting his jersey retired this week, and obviously Willie O'Ree last week.
Yep.
Chris Pronger the week prior. Would it be a nice gesture to put Alex Ovechkin's number 8 over the top of the circle on both ends of Washington's home arena?
Okay, so it would just be Washington's home arena?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, run that.
Yeah.
I was thinking it was like league wide for a minute. I was like, that's gonna be
a
bit of a push. But I love it. That's something that I wouldn't be surprised Ted Leonsis would probably pull. I mean, the number's getting retired. It's a no-brainer.
Oh, no doubt.
No-brainer. Him and Backstrom both.
Yep.
But I think that would be super cool, man. For sure.
I mean, it's kind of a cool way to remember one of your great players, and I mean, obviously, he's probably going to be remembered as the greatest Washington Capital of all time.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
No doubt. I mean, Ted Leonsis, I remember a few years ago, there was in like kind of an interview. He's like, he's undoubtedly the greatest thing that's ever happened to the franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a struggling franchise before Ovechkin came. Them in Pittsburgh both, and Crosby and Ovechkin just buzzed into the league and kind of, revitalized both.
Yeah, for sure.
So.
We got to give a shout out to Bruce Boudreau as well, head coach of the Vancouver Canucks. Coached his 1,000th game. Man, he got emotional on the bench. OV was in the tribute video. Guys like Ryan Kessler, and they all had such great things to say about Bruce in the shout out. Man, I think players seem to absolutely love that guy.
Oh man, for sure. I mean, I remember when he coached Washington, it was the most run and gun. Like, you're an offensive player, dude. You're gonna love this dude.
Yeah,
and we talked about it before he got hired as well. I mean, Washington scored like 6-7 goals a game that one of those years when he was there. It was absolutely ridiculous.
Seems to be a player's coach for sure. Whatever you want to define that as.
And obviously, you've seen the rant from the 24/7 thing, the Winter Classic that was like 2011 or something. But he is just he seems like an absolute beaut.
Yeah, he does. So congratulations, Bruce Boudreau. Nate, moving out of the NHL and into the MLB, some brief news. Obviously, it's still locked out, and we'll get some updates with that, I'm sure, momentarily or in the near future. Pitchers and catchers are supposed to return to camp at the end of February, so we'll see if they make any progress on that front. But the MLB inductions were announced this week, and so what needs to happen is the MLB writers, I'm not sure how many people there are, they vote on these players to go in, and you need to have 75% of the vote, and David Ortiz got in, so congratulations to David Ortiz. I mean, obviously a great Red Sox. He was part of the end of the Christopher Bambino. I mean, he was one of the clutchest hitters I've ever seen in my life. But it's interesting because David Ortiz, he failed the drug test, and there was some steroid allegations there, and which leads to Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens being left off the ballot and won't be Hall of Famers in Cooperstown. So I mean, I'm personally a little outraged. I think those names belong in the Hall of Fame, and for me, it's very disappointing.
Yeah, I feel like Barry Bonds gets just kind of the worst of the rap just because of the whole where he leads home runs now.
Yeah,
and it's just probably the tough look on the league, and I don't know, man. It's so when did Ortiz fail the drug test? I don't remember this at all.
I forget what year it was. It was early in the early 2000s, and I'm not sure.
Everybody was doing it then, though.
Well, exactly. I mean, you got guys like Giambi and Sammy Sosa, Mark McGuire. I mean, the list goes on.
Giambi's an absolute fridge.
He's
a fridge.
The list goes on in the MLB in terms of guys that were doing this at the time. He was almost a part of the culture. And I've listened to Luke Wilson at times, former NFL player, former tight end for the Seattle Seahawks, and even in today's day and age, there's things going on in professional leagues locker rooms that are kept under the table and certainly aren't protocol. So I mean, what do you want Cooperstown to represent? And is it going to tell a story of the history of the game? Because you're going to be leaving out two of the greats and two who, players who dominated such a long era in the MLB. And, say, Nate, you're bringing your kid to Cooperstown. Well, you're not going to be able to show them the monument of the greatest home run hitter in the history of the game.
Yeah, I feel like it's something you almost got to just move past and be like, let's enjoy this. You know what I mean? Like, this guy literally has the most home runs in league history.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, we obviously have the same stance on it too. It's like, I just don't think it's that big of a deal, I guess. Like, I know a lot of people would be like, oh, he's a cheater. Like, he cheated. It's like, well, I mean, a lot of guys cheated.
Yeah.
A lot of people cheat all the time. There's still people cheating. I mean,
exactly. But
I don't know. I want him in.
Do we just not acknowledge that they had an amazing career, or do we just forget about them and just pretend they weren't a part of the MLB? I mean, these guys were the biggest draws in your league for 2 decades.
Exactly, and it's not like Barry Bonds was terrible before he juiced and then just all of a sudden turned into an absolute freak of nature. Like, it's Barry Bonds, dude. Like,
I mean, you still have to have so much talent.
Yes,
you know,
exactly.
and obviously it enhances your ability, but I mean, it's not like you're going to hit. You know, it's not like if
shove a needle in me, I'm going to go out there and absolutely start whacking them. Like, highly unlikely, ladies and gentlemen. No, there's absolutely no shot. I mean, that's a bit of a shot at me, but you know.
Well, you put me in the exact same boat.
Well,
you start plugging my rear end with steroids. I'm not going to go start smacking them.
Oh, I couldn't even hit a home run in a softball game.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe I could get a hold of one, but
I mean, let's not get too out of hand here.
Yeah, so you're not that weak.
Yeah. But no, man. You know, it's going to be interesting to see. You know, I think there was some rumblings that they might be able to get back onto the ballot. I'm not sure. You know what's going to happen. But my prediction is that some point during the next 20, 25 years, we see these two inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I mean, how long can you go? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's the limit on the ballot?
I just feel as if the narrative of our age, of our, you know, as the writers age, that this narrative might change and be like, these guys played such a role in the history of the MLB that we need them in Cooperstown. Nate, moving into the Australian Open, big tennis major going on right now. Yep. Man, it was a tough week for the Canadian boys, Felix and Dennis. Dennis Shapovalov played Nadal, got down 2 sets right away, came back, won 2 sets, lost in the 5th set to Rafael Nadal. Rafa Nadal. So that, I mean, to go 5 sets against, you know, one of the prolific players of all time in tennis. I mean, did you see Dennis come out after the match?
I did not.
So he came out after the match, and he called out not only Rafa, but he called out the judge and said that, you know, these top players, these highly ranked players in the world get special treatment. He was given way too much time in between sets and in between games, and it was just unfair. It took him out of the groove. And so, yeah, Dennis was very vocal and said that, you know, it was, you know, that the judge and kind of the entire game was kind of not fixed, but in favor of Rafa to win the match. So that was making some rounds and certainly you know, put Denis Shapovalov in the light. And then Felix goes up 2-0 against is it Medvedev? Medvedev, the number 2 ranked Russian, and he ended up losing 3 straight sets to lose. But I mean, the Canadian tennis world is in great hands. Milos Raonic just kind of fallen off the map.
Yeah, what's going on with that guy? Ever since he left Lacoste, went to New Balance.
Yeah,
he just kind of spiraled downhill for him.
For sure.
Yeah, we got the semifinals are set. You got Berrettini against Nadal.
Oh, that Berrettini, the Italian, he's unreal. He's a tall guy. He's got some serious power. Serves insane.
Medvedev, and then, I mean, if you're going to try and pronounce this, I want to see it.
Tsitsipas?
Tsitsipas?
Tsitsipas? Yeah, it would be Pa. Yeah, the Greek.
I'm not certain how to pronounce that, but
I'm hoping for a Medvedev-Nadal final.
Yeah, I think that would be good
heater.
For sure. And Nadal, obviously, now with no Djokovic and no Roger Federer after Roger's surgery, Rafa could be the all-time great. The surpassed 20 major wins, as they're all tied at 20. So so he could be the most winning major champion in men's tennis history. All right, Nate. It's time to break down what we just witnessed on Sunday in the NFL.
Oh, let's get into it.
It was...
Oh, man. It was wild. First, you got Tom Brady down and what seemed to be out.
Down 27-3.
Yeah, and I mean, what was it, 30-27 final?
I mean, okay, so let's get into this. So it's 27-3, and if anybody watching that game thought it was over, forget about it. There was no one on the planet Earth that said this was going to be a blowout.
No.
So, but the thing is that it's 27-3. The Bucs go down and score. It's 27-10. They go 3 and out, punt the ball. The Bucs get the ball back, get a first down. They're on their 30, 35, and Von Miller comes off the edge and strip sacks Tom Brady. The game's it's over now.
Most would reckon.
The next play, the center snaps the ball over Matt Stafford's head to half, and the Bucks recover it. So in that exchange of hands, it took like a minute, and the Bucks advanced the ball to half. Anyway, they go on and tie the game. They left a little bit too much clock for Matt Stafford as he hit Cooper Kupp deep and ended up closing out the game. But that was electric. But man, so the Rams are moving on to take on the 49ers.
Yeah.
But that Sunday nighter was the best football game I've ever watched. I can't remember one. I mean, obviously the Pats comeback game in the Super Bowl was amazing, but this one, like, Matt Ryan stunk in the second half of that game, and like the quality of quarterback play that we witnessed on Sunday night was the best I've ever seen. And I think these two guys are going to meet up every single year in the playoffs.
You'd have to reckon now, eh? It's going to be ridiculous. But that fourth quarter, you want to talk about emotions for me.
Oh, my goodness.
As we all are probably aware, ladies and gentlemen at home, Nathan went a little bit out on a limb, and he threw it on the OT. Ding, ding, ding.
That's
Obviously,
a winner.
Spoiler alert. Got it. Anyway, I at one point thought, well, I'm going to tell you at the point when I thought there was absolutely no shot, and that's with 13 seconds left on the clock.
Absolutely.
13 seconds left. What were they, on the 25, KC?
Yep.
They're on the 25, and I'm like, all right, what are the odds? What are the odds? What would you say the odds are there?
I mean, very slim that they go down and kick a field goal. Very slim.
Very slim.
Against the #1 ranked defense in the NFL.
That right? So anyway, that ended up happening. So that's my fourth of the year.
Yeah. So
Four.
I mean, Nate was cashing OTs all year long. So you're gonna have to tail Nate and figure out who he's on in the OT games next NFL season.
Whoa, not even yet. I mean, we still got this.
Yes, that's
Got
correct.
the championship games coming. I'm ready to rock.
We'll post Instagram stories for these next. I mean, obviously you're gonna predict the Super Bowl to go to OT.
Well, undoubtedly, I'm also all over. As if anyone's following still along from last year's bets, it'll be yellow Gatorade.
So we're on the yellow Gatorade as well. But Nate, I do want to go into the Buffalo Bills here.
Yeah.
So obviously, they're up by 3. And they choose, so you can choose to kick it through the end zone. That brings them out to the 25, which they did, or you can squib kick it. So a squib kick would be put it on the ground, so it would kind of bounce to the returner. You can't take a knee, obviously.
Yeah.
So the clock would start running. So they opted not to do that, and so that was kind of getting some uproar from Bills fans and from football fans across the nation. But the biggest issue here was with 13 seconds left. Defense was playing prevent, and they just allowed Travis Kelce and I think it was McCole Hardman just to run kind of pass. They left Tyreek Hill open just for a quick shot, runs for 20 yards. Then they find Kelce in a soft spot. I mean, the defense was just playing too soft. I think you got to play hard man and then have some umbrella over the top. And then a lot of uproar, Nate, about the OT rules in the NFL.
Yeah, and I found this like kind of weird because what was it that ended up happening? So the Chiefs proposed the rule change in 2019.
Yeah,
they wanted it switched that both teams get a shot with the ball.
Yes, because the Patriots came back,
yes,
won the toss, and obviously Tom Brady marched down and beat them.
Now I'm kind of on the fence on this one. Like, obviously, this has been the rule for as long as I remember.
Yep.
So it's like, I mean, that's just kind of the way it is. You get the touchdown. It's kind of like that sudden death. It's about as sudden death as you can get, mindful of the field goal, of course.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't hate it, but at the same time, from like a marketing standpoint, I don't think it's a terrible thing in overtime if you have Jackson Mahomes' brother, and Josh Allen both getting a shot with the ball. I think it would be more exciting, you know what I mean? Like, they both get a shot, but at the same time, it's like, it's not like Buffalo didn't have a chance to close this game out.
Well, don't go to overtime is the underlying narrative.
But, I mean, I appreciate that you guys did.
Yeah, no,
it's very nice, but
just don't. Yes, that's right. But don't go to overtime. Make it stop with 13 seconds left.
Exactly. Like, dude, you had it. Like, you had 13 seconds. Obviously, Mahomes. Like, did you see that? You must have seen it too. When what was it? Travis Kelce said he was not going to. He's like, I wasn't running the route. Did you see that?
Oh, with 13 seconds left.
Yeah. He's like, I wasn't going to run the route, and then Mahomes is like, Kelce. He's like, just do it. Do it. And he's like, all right, I'll do it. And he runs it, and it worked out. He was going to just go to the open area.
Wow.
That's what he said. So it's a cool mic'd up thing if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, I know for sure. I mean, like you said, Nate. So I was listening to Chris Long, former DN for the St. Louis Rams and the New England Patriots and the Philadelphia Eagles. But Chris Long was saying, can you imagine having both defenses and both offenses on the field, starting at the 45, first one to score, going up back and forth?
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot of cool ways they could do it.
You could be very unique with it, for sure.
You could, for sure. I think there could be more exciting ways to do it.
Yep.
I'm not sure the exact approach to change it. I mean, it's a tough thing to change. Just where it's like, you know, you completely change. Like even when the NHL changed their overtime from 4-on-4 to 3-on-3. It was it's a big change. So,
and in college they do the shootout. I mean, it's going to be interesting. I don't think they're going to change it. I think it's just like the Bills stop them, or if you go to overtime, stop them.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
But just some other news outside of the NFL, Nate. So obviously this weekend it's going to be San Francisco going into SoFi Stadium to take on the Rams, and then we've got the Cincinnati Bengals going into Arrowhead Stadium to take on the Chiefs. So I think it's going to be Chiefs-Rams. I don't know where you stand, Nate.
I mean, I think it's going to be Chiefs-Rams as well. I don't see the 49ers beating the Rams.
No, I don't either.
And it's going to be an absolute juggernaut Super Bowl. It's going to be a good one, man.
100%.
Like, it's going to be awesome.
100%. We're going to be all over the Rams. I don't really want to see Jackson Mahomes' brother. I guess before we move out of that, Nate, did you see the uproar coming out of Kansas City with Jackson Mahomes and Jackson Mahomes' brother's wife?
Something about champagne, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so they were celebrating in the suites at Arrowhead, and Jackson Mahomes' brother's wife started shaking the bottle of champagne, and she started dumping it all over the Chiefs fans that were below her out of the box. And the issue is probably a lot of people would be, you know, pretty celebratory in that instance and not really mind it, but it's like, it was like 20 degrees Fahrenheit. It's like freezing in that stadium, and they're getting dumped champagne on. Anyway, she gets ripped apart online.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's never a fun situation when you kind of unexpectedly get wet.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, lady, can we just maybe tone it down a notch?
It's just like getting a drink dumped on you. It's like, well, thank you. But Nate, Sean Payton, longtime coach of the New Orleans Saints. Don't quote me for this, but I'm something along the lines of 159 and 82 in his career in the NFL. Obviously, a Super Bowl winner with Drew Brees. He's resigned from the New Orleans Saints. And Nate, my narrative around this, I mentioned to you earlier in the week, is do you think coaches league-wide watched this duo of Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes go back and forth, these offenses go to town, and say, man, we're not even close to being on this level?
Well, I mean, you got to figure, but I feel like there's some negligence involved too. Like, I feel like a lot of people are kind of like, look at their team and they're like, you know what, we're not that far off, when in realistic they are. But I'm sure there's got to be some guys who be like, man, we have no quarterback that's anywhere remotely close to either of these guys.
Yeah.
We've got zero defense compared to this. Like, you look at a team like the Jaguars, for instance. I mean, like, Trevor Lawrence could be something in a few years for sure.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a long way to get to, like, that caliber of a squad, man. It's hard to assemble.
Yeah, for sure. No, absolutely. And I mean, the Saints, they needed a win, and a San Francisco 49ers lost to lose the playoffs. But I think his quarterback play is going to be not great for a long time. And it was interesting. He didn't retire. He resigned. So I could foresee Sean Payton kind of pulling the Jimmy Rutherford and stepping away and then popping back into maybe the Dallas Cowboys position. Somewhere's along those lines. But even interesting. And Nate, Antonio Brown back in the news. He tweeted out a photo this week of him in a Baltimore Ravens jersey. So pretty much dictating where he's going to be playing. Be interesting to see if the Baltimore Ravens bite and give Lamar Jackson the old Antonio Brown weapon.
Yeah, I feel like this would be just kind of a weird situation. I mean, like, if you're going to go play for Tom Brady and that's not going to work out for you, you know what I mean? I don't know how Lamar, like, I just don't see why you bother. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But I also just to move off that quick, I just thought of a really random kind of cool fact about the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So last year was the first year that a team played at home.
Yeah.
And if the Rams make it,
Be back
it's
to
going to be
back.
the second time, and it's going to be back to back.
Yeah, for
Just
sure.
kind of wild.
No,
What
absolutely.
an advantage that would be, man.
Oh, definitely. I mean, can you imagine already how many highlight A1 celebrities are going to be at that game?
It's going to actually be wild.
It's going to be
especially when you
unbelievable.
just look at the cast of the Super Bowl halftime show that we talked over the other day. Like, this is going to be an absolute.
Yeah.
I wonder what the net worth of that building is going to be on that day.
It's going to be outrageous. And I mean, the cameras are going to be panning all over the place
my
too.
goodness,
during this. It's going to be such an incredible event. We're super excited for that. And we're not going to hype it up, but we're going to have an amazing guest on to hype up the Super Bowl and the preview of the Super Bowl. So we're really excited about that. I guess this is a good time to bring it up too, Nate. We've got coming for Monday's episode. We've got Greg Pike, former Georgia Bulldog, dressed for the Bills and the Arizona Cardinals. So we'll be joined by former Georgia Bulldog offensive lineman Greg Pike.
Bound to be an absolute hater.
It's going to be an absolute heater, is right, Nate? So we're really excited for that for Monday's episode. Nate, moving into the NBA, I got to give a shout out to my guy. He's the fire wagon of the week for me. My guy Jason Tatum putting up 51 points the other night. They absolutely blew out the Sacramento Kings, like 121-75 the other night. The Celtics caught no man's land, like we'd like to talk about, but I decided to give Jason Tatum a little shout-out.
No, like you got to give the squad a little bit of a shout-out once in a while, you know? I'm trying it with my Wizards, and it's just...
Yeah.
Ain't really working to the same effect.
No, for sure.
Nobody's really dropping 50. I'm not putting on Kyle Kuzma to just throw up some buckets, but, you know, I respect it.
No, absolutely.
Out of Jason.
So keep it up, my guy, Jason Tatum. Nate, today they're going to be announcing, so yesterday they're going to be announcing the NBA starters. I mean, it's got to be the easiest league to just say, all right, it's going to be these 5 guys and these 5 guys.
LeBron, exactly.
Giannis,
Giannis,
exactly. Durant, Curry. Yeah, I mean, you name them. You know,
it's a done deal.
And they'll be on there. So, yeah, they're going to name the starters. I did want to bring up the Rising Stars game, Nate, that they're going to have on the All-Star weekend in about a month's time. So they're going to have 12 second-year players, 12 rookies, and 4 G League stars, and have like a mini tournament.
Okay, I like it. So this is obviously new.
Oh yeah,
the G League. I was going to say the G League has certainly not been involved prior.
No.
But I kind of like it, man. You know what? It builds a little bit of hype around the G League. You probably like build your marketing a little bit there because I'm not sure I wonder how many people watch the G League like.
Oh geez,
consistently. Like it can't be.
I don't even know how to.
Well, I mean, what do you go to gleague.com and like it was the D League?
Yeah, it used to be.
Like, what's next? The
E
League?
Yeah, you got to keep going
Enterprise
down.
You got to
keep
keep
flying down the alphabet.
That's right. It's like the damn coronavirus variants. Yeah, welcome to the T League.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be a cool thing. Those Youngstar games are always so cool too.
I like how they. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go.
I just like how they showcase more than just the rookies. They showcase the sophomores as well.
Yeah.
You know, guys that are still up and coming, and so that's going to be really exciting. I mean, I think that some other leagues have to take a page out of that book. And do the NHL All-Star games? Do they bring in their rookies and sophomores for an event?
They used to do it, but they just kind of scrapped it. I think it was kind of hard to. Like assemble an entire team of it.
Yeah,
you know,
not, like it'd be fun to see, you know, Sider and Raymond and Zegras and all of these guys on display. But yeah, I mean, how many of them could you get? I mean, if you add in the sophomores, I mean, I'm sure you can get.
It'd be kind of like the under-23 team they did for the World Cup a few years ago.
That's right.
Something like that, and obviously that's always exciting. That people get so excited about young stars in any sport, so it's like you may as well make a display of it.
The future of your league, you know, you want to sell these guys early. Yep. So, Nate, I did want to mention yesterday was the 2-year anniversary of Colby Bryant's death. So obviously, you know, still, it just was such a shocking piece of news. I mean, I still remember the day when it happened, where I was, and I didn't believe it either.
I saw like the news breaking. I think I saw it on Instagram initially, and I was like, what? Yeah. Like, no shot.
Yeah, I know, exactly. And obviously super sad news. And so they've got a nice memorial, built a statue. It's actually at the crash site. So in my opinion, they should find a more relevant place for that statue. I don't like the idea. It's kind of eerie to me.
That is kind of eerie.
So I think they should find, you know, a better place in Los Angeles to put that statue. But what's interesting, Nate, is yesterday the Lakers were 24-24. And they were in 8th place in the Western Conference. I forget the number narratives that have happened around Colby Bryant, but Colby's looking down on the Lakers, man.
Yeah, well, I know we talked about it before, and none really came to mind, but I feel like I've seen so many. But I know there's one with like the 81-point game, like whether it was the date or something of that.
That's right.
It might have been like the 8, so you had the 81 points, and then it was like maybe the 81 to like something else. The numbers equaled out to be 24 as well, like with the rebounds and the assists, maybe.
Yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, there's always some wild numbers on that, and you got to figure there's something outer worldly kind of going on.
No, absolutely.
You know?
I mean, it's still, for me, it's what I haven't been a diehard basketball fan, but I've certainly thrown, you know, clumps of garbage and said Colby at the trash cans growing up.
Thing, right?
He had such a massive impact on the game of basketball, and yeah, I mean, you know, what a tremendous career Colby had, and we're definitely thinking about Colby and his family, you know, during the 2-year anniversary, you know, of his passing.
It's a pit in my stomach thinking about it, man.
Yeah, man, it's sad. But we're going to move into the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
They're in California, San Diego, California this week at Torrey Pines, like we mentioned the last episode.
Yep.
Man, I mean, the star-studded field. I was watching Ricky Fowler, Jordan Spieth, and Bryson DeChambeau, and it's just it never ceases to amaze me how comedic and how unique Bryson DeChambeau goes at a golf course. I mean, it is all over the map.
It's got to be one of the more entertaining things you can see because as soon as he walks up to any hole, minus a par 3, because he'll hit his 60-degree wedge 195 yards.
Yeah.
Maybe that might even be selling him short.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact numbers and the distance on the guy, but holy smokes, dude. But it's so funny as you brought up, even I remember one time we were watching in your basement, it was just it's like, holy smokes, he's going for it. And it's just he absolutely nukes the thing. And then it's just he's in some ferns. And it's all right, what's he going to do now? And then the next thing you know, he's swinging his guts out, ripping half of a wilderness camp out, and the ball's going. And you're like, holy smokes. It's entertaining to say the least. The level that he does not care.
Yep.
It almost feels like, you know what I mean? He's out there. He's I'm just whacking it and I'm going.
He's just fully committed to hitting it as far as humanly possible and then just figuring out what that leaves him. But
I know.
Statistically, he's an amazing putter on tour. His short game's awesome. The thing is, Nate says, he'll blow it into a fern, but he'll get in that fern and hit it to 10 feet.
That's what I'm saying. It's I try to picture myself during one of the one-hole challenge. If you're not following on Instagram, go follow on Instagram.
That's right.
But I try to picture myself in one of those. Dude, I get stuck behind a tree, and I'm like, jeez, I'm not getting up over that. Any root, I'll hit a root, I'll snap my wrist. You know what I mean? The guy absolutely hums at it, man. It's wild.
It is impressive.
And you see him for the practice swings too when he's on the range before the rounds, and it's always just the same thing. Him just absolutely ready to throw his back out on the range. It's holy dude, save a couple.
I know.
Save a couple for the round, Bryson.
Yeah, it is lunatic style. And another interesting point to bring up, Nate, about yesterday's round is I'm watching the round and I see this blonde individual rolling around, and I zoom in, and it's Brooks Koepka going full Slim Shady on us.
I swore I thought it was Eminem.
Yeah.
I thought he was maybe out there in San Diego getting ready for the halftime show. But I saw the clip of him dying it too. What is the story behind that? He just doing it for gigs?
I guess. I don't really know, the reasoning behind dyeing your hair blonde, but got a little attention. Maybe it's for that extra money the PGA Tour is dishing out for all of the that social stickiness that you have. But Brooks Koepka going with the new look. I don't think he's playing great, but leader after at the beginning of the podcast was world number 1 Jon Rahm.
Yep.
And you want to hear this narrative, Nate?
Sure.
So I wasn't aware of this narrative, and I might have taken him in the one and done if I did know the narrative. But Jon Rahm won the U.S. Open at this golf course last year.
Okay.
But not only did he win the U.S. Open at this golf course, the year prior he proposed to his wife on the cliffs of that golf course.
Yeah,
he's the best player in the world.
Yeah,
week after week.
I am gonna say I have him on the best bets, right? On the Instagram.
I think yes, you do.
Yes, I do.
Yes,
I did not take him on the one and done.
You gotta save him though.
Well, that's what I think, right? I went through and I was
winning a major.
Yeah,
you have to think.
You know what I mean? And that's another guy I'm gonna. As we were just talking about Koepka, that's another guy I'm nailing in a major too. You know what I mean? He's lights.
It's insane.
So it's I'm not taking him during the the Farmers Insurance.
Yeah,
it's I'm not taking Jon Rahm in the Farmers Insurance.
No, I'm riding Daniel Berger. He was -5. After yesterday, I think he's -7 right now. So I'm feeling pretty good about Daniel Berger. Who'd you take, Nate?
I took Scotty Sheffy.
Oh, and he was in the...
No, he's doing all right. He was 2 under through day 1.
Okay, and he played the South Course yesterday, which is the harder of the two. They played the South Course for Saturday and Sunday, but yeah, so he might be going low on the North Course today.
Yeah, that's a guy I took. I mean, he's world rank 15.
Oh, he's awesome.
I'll be for sure. I just went into it, and I'll be honest with you, Greg. I was straight up scared.
Okay.
Going in to make my pick because I was I don't want to burn somebody. I'm scared to make too big of a splash.
Yeah.
And I thought about sprinkling JT.
Yeah.
I did. I really did. No one touched him, man. He's obviously being saved up. But he's not a guy I'm going to grab at a major for, you know what I mean? I'm just not for me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that will. It's just I haven't had great luck picking him.
Yeah.
And it's just so, he's a guy I'm not going to really.
For sure.
I'm not touching him. My major guys are probably going to be. I'll just give it out. Anybody trailing my picks.
Who are you taking at the Masters?
Masters, Sung JM. But
are you?
No. I might take Rahm
at the Masters.
Yeah, I might take Rahm at the Masters. Okay. DJ too. That's another guy I'm going to save for something.
Yep.
DJ, Rahm, Koepka for sure.
Yep.
And then I don't know. I might. I can't sprinkle him on a major.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to start to map out my events. And look
I know that's what I was trying to start doing.
I'm taking Rory at the Masters.
I'm taking him At Waste Management.
Okay, that's in a couple weeks.
Yeah. Have you seen that guy shotgun beers?
No.
You can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Not actually going to take him for that.
I'm going to have to map it out because, yeah, I mean, like you said, Nate, there's so many good players, and you got to use them all through the year. But a guy like Patrick Cantlay, too. I mean, he played well towards the end of the last year. Xander Schauffele's poised to win a major.
There's so many guys to pick.
You got Colin Morikawa, who's been sniffing around majors, got 2 in the last couple years.
Yep.
I mean, Rory looking for the career Grand Slam, hasn't won in a while. Dustin Johnson, Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas. I mean,
yeah, Spieth, man. Like, geez, I got to start picking some big guns for this stuff. I'm absolutely floating.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, obviously,
Corey Connors last week.
Yeah, I mean,
and then I re-sprinkle him on the golf best bets. Anyone following Instagram seeing it's like, this guy's
round 1.
Head's in a blender, dude. What's he doing? But yeah.
Nate, you want to bring up our segment today? It's going to be electric.
Yeah, let's absolutely do it.
All right, Nate. Well, this week's segment, we've got some fans calling in. Some questions for the show, some live phone calls.
Yeah, I mean, this is a new segment for us for sure. I mean, here's hoping somebody calls.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. But while we're waiting, I mean, what are you sort of expecting here from these phone calls?
See, I think it's a medley of a few things here. We could have, some actual straightforward questions, or we could have someone just screaming soundboard noises at us.
Yeah,
they could just play something like I could picture an like it's.
Can I get yeah?
I mean, this is a test run, but this could go completely south.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're hoping this segment goes as planned. We're hoping the questions are on side. We're hoping that they're sports related, but you really never know with callers.
You don't, especially when it's us two running it, and we don't have someone screening the calls. Like, it is a 2-man show over here.
Yes, it is.
The Daily Intermission. So
obviously, yes, we do have the power to cut them, but we're not in the business of cutting stuff.
We like to leave it in, baby. So we'll see what happens. Like the first one comes in, it's just like, it's like, all right, well, we're gonna have to simply cut that.
Yeah, moving on to line 2. Yeah. We'll see what happens here. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have our first caller. Welcome to the Daily Intermission podcast. How you doing today?
Hey, this is Megan calling from Los Angeles.
Megan,
all right.
Well, welcome to the Daily Intermission show. Listen, we're taking calls from the audience, so do you have any questions for us?
All right, okay. Long-time listener, first-time caller. So I'm pretty sure you guys are Canadian, and we know the Winter Olympics are coming up, and I want to hear your thoughts on curling.
Funny you bring that up. We were just kind of going back and forth about curling.
We were. Well, Megan, yeah, and like Nate said, it is a good segue because in the little pre-chatter while we were waiting for some phone calls, we did bring up curling. I mean, it's not our forte and not our kind of main focus here on the podcast, but it certainly has a huge fan base. I'm not sure who Canada is sending, but I'll be tuning in when it's on TV. I know when the Briars is on, we watch it, but it's a slower paced sport, but there's definitely some strategy. I think it'd be similar to golf in the sense where it takes a lot of skill. Hand-eye coordination, and it's certainly a fun sport to watch.
But do you have any opinion on curling pants? Because I know Norway normally wears those coordinated curling pants.
I have not seen them personally, Megan, but I'm gonna have to check those out because they sound so. What are we talking here for these coordinated pants? What are they looking like? Do they go a little crazy? I know
I know they looked a little bit like crazy Scottish plaid golfing pants for a while.
Okay.
I don't know what they've looked like recently. I'm not sure if they're still wearing them, but I remember, a while back thinking those look amazing.
Okay, a little Argyle print, a little bit of flair at the bottom. I mean, I'm a fan. I'm going to come out and say this. I mean, you've got to make yourself look unique on the playing field. You got to stand out, and I'm a supporter of that type of stuff.
All right. Okay, we can celebrate fashion even if we don't know the rules of the game.
What was that? Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
We can celebrate fashion even if we don't know the rules of the game.
Oh,
I don't understand the rules of curling either.
Oh, absolutely. The only real thing I know about it is it looks incredibly difficult how sometimes they just wedge those things in between each other and that could have come off oddly. You got to be color coordinated. That's for sure. So.
The amount of finesse that it would take to. Listen, Megan, we appreciate it. Hopefully you can call in sometime soon. And I know the weather's a lot better down there in Los Angeles. So you take care, okay?
Thank you so much.
Getting everything set here. And we have our second caller of the day. Welcome to the Daily Intermission podcast. Who are we talking to?
Hi there. Long-time listener. I'm Nicole, and I'm calling from Denver.
Denver. Okay. How's the weather there today?
Oh, cold.
Probably not as cold as it is here. You got any questions for us, Anna Nicole?
Yeah, I do have a question. I'm just curious what you guys think about Brooks Koepka's new hairdo.
Good question. We brought it up on the podcast today, Anna Nicole.
did.
Well, yeah, it's kind of a trending hairstyle on the TikTok platform and the new age media, but kind of a Slim Shady look. I'm a fan. We talked about it with the last caller about in the individual sports, kind of being as flashy and as standout as possible. But I'm a fan. If it's a short-term thing, if it's a long-term thing, I don't know. But if you go through a little blonde phase, I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
You like it, Anna Nicole?
Quick follow-up question.
Yes.
I do. I'm a fan. I think it's fun. I think it's playful. I also feel like the game of golf has gotten a lot more playful, so that's intriguing. Follow-up question, though. Who do you think's next to go blonde and follow the Brooks Koepka train?
Okay.
Do you think Bryson could pull that?
I mean, he's
that's
kind of like a
something?
dirty blonde already.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, I guess I'll flip the question here, and Nicole, and I'll say I would love to see Phil Mickelson bring out the long, luscious brown hair dyed bleach blonde.
I could see that. I could see him doing that.
I mean, what a look that would be.
Has he not done it before?
What's that?
He's done it before, has he not?
Ooh.
Phil?
I mean, that could be breaking news, and that could be a photo that we pop up for the listeners right now if we can dig that up. But no, we really appreciate you phoning in, Anna Nicole, and hopefully we can catch up with you in later episodes. But take care in Denver, Colorado. Stay warm, and we will catch up soon.
Awesome, thank you guys.
Thanks, Anna Nicole. There you go, Nate. Caller number two.
Number two, they're rolling in.
I mean, it's news to me that the female population even listen to the show.
News to me, we had that many fans in California and or Denver.
Yeah, well,
So here we go,
an
folks.
eclectic mix here of individuals phoning in. So we'll see if we can get another phone call here. Well, Nate, it looks like we've got caller number 3. Welcome to the Daily Intermission podcast. I do apologize. Who do we have here, and where are you from?
This is Rick calling from Maryland. We do crabs and football, but I'm here to talk about lacrosse. How are you guys doing today?
Listen now, we're doing really good today.
Pretty good, Rick. How's the weather in Maryland treating you?
Oh, man, I'm freezing my balls off, but I'm loving it. How are you guys doing up there? Where are you guys from? You guys in Canada, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we are. It's not great weather here either.
It's the frozen tundra this time of year, Rick. So do you have any sports questions for us?
Yeah, what kind of lacrosse you looking to talk about?
So, I'm a former Division I athlete, I try to keep my stick in my hand. I just coaching at this point, but, I'm curious about you guys' opinions on the difference between hockey and lacrosse. I know that the indoor lacrosse league, the NLL, is getting bigger up here in the States and also in Canada. What are your guys' thoughts on that, in relation to hockey? Is there any opinions?
Yeah, I mean, I think it might be getting a lot more popular just due to the fact. I mean, it's a pretty physical sport, and it kind of goes hand in hand with, like, I've always enjoyed a good box lacrosse game. I mean, it's physical as can be out there. Some of the stick work that gets on the legs, I don't know, like, there's just no penalties, eh?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I'm with it.
I'm going to agree with Nate. I'm a fan of watching it. I reflect to kind of the early 2000s, mid 2000s through our middle school and high school. It used to be nationally televised. I think it was Sportsnet. They had the contract for the Toronto Rock, and I think it was Colin Doyle. I think the name was. He was just such a stud for the Toronto Rock. And they used to always be on TV. I used to tune in. But, yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan. I love the physicality of the sport. I think a lot of Canadians are drawn to it. It's big in some of the provinces. Yeah, I mean, and we've got a team here in Halifax, the Halifax Thunderbirds. They compete in the NLL. I'm a big fan. Yeah, and I'm a full supporter of growing that game and for from the grassroots level and on, for it to be have more of an impact in the professional sports world.
I appreciate you guys' opinion. I think sports in general are getting pretty soft, so I think we need more physicality overall and everything.
Absolutely.
So, I love it.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Rick, we appreciate you phoning in, and you have yourself a fantastic day.
Oh, I love it, boys. Cheers.
Sorry, sir. We had a little bit of a miscommunication there. Sorry, who is it and where are you from again?
Ethan from West Virginia. How are you guys doing?
We're doing well today. How are you doing? How's the weather down there in West Virginia?
Pretty good. Just normal. No snow like you guys. So I got a question for you.
Yeah, fire away.
Hit us.
Actually, for Nate.
Okay.
For Nate
All right.
specifically. Nate.
Yeah.
If you could be any athlete currently playing, or even let's say past athlete, any sport, who would it be and why?
I tell you, Ethan, that is a great question. Any athlete? I would probably go
athlete.
I'd probably go Rob Gronkowski. He lives a rock star life. I just like his personality in the media. I feel like that's something I would want to do if I was in that kind of like realm. So I think I'd go with Gronk. Plus, you make a ton of money, and he's just an absolute beauty, and that's what I would strive to be as a professional athlete. So I'm going to go with Gronk.
All right, there you go. Greg, what about you?
For me, it's a guy, I probably would have made some different decisions, but it's Tiger Woods. I mean, gifted with the best golf game of all time. Just has been the face of a sport for his entire life, and I've just looked up to him, his golf game anyway, for a long, long time. But that's a great question, Ethan. Do you have anything else for us?
No, just a long-time listener, big fan, first-time caller. Hopefully I can make it back on.
Listen, absolutely. Well, we'll be doing some call-ins in later episodes. So listen, take care in West Virginia, and we'll catch up soon.
Yep, sounds good.
And we've got caller number 5 calling into the Daily Intermission podcast. How you doing today? Where are you from, and what's your name?
What's going on? This is Cal from Boston.
Cal from Boston. How are you?
I got good. I got a question for you guys.
Absolutely.
The 2022 Super Bowl halftime shows get Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, a bunch of A-list talent. But I want to know what your guys dream halftime show for the Super Bowl would be.
Oh, good question. I mean, I think I'll start things off here, Nate. Yeah. I mean, I've always been a big fan of Eminem, so that's certainly, checking one of the boxes for me. But my all-time favorite kind of rap artist and hip-hop artist is Drake. I think Lil Wayne and Drake would put on quite a show at the halftime of the Super Bowl. So I'll go with Lil Wayne and Drake, Cal.
I hope, hey, listen, if that happens, I hope Lil Wayne brings out his E.T. costume from a few years ago, because that was a big hit where I'm from.
That's right. I mean, Greg kind of took the words right out of my mouth. I'm a big Lil Wayne guy myself, but I'm also a big Matchbox 20 fan. I don't know how much that would hit over the for the Super Bowl halftime show, but I would love to see a little live Matchbox 20 out there. So I'm going to go with them.
Awesome. Big fan. Thanks, guys.
Hey, listen, you have yourself a good day. Thanks for calling in, Cal.
Thanks.